to my channel. I'm Patsy and I've been inspired to make this channel as I have friends and family who have intolerances to predominantly gluten, but some to lactose and egg as well. I love to bake myself and use many recipes, and I would just like to adapt those recipes to take those food intolerances into consideration. Today's recipe is for gluten-free donuts, and I've been inspired to make it by my friend's little girl Tilly and my nephew. Both of them have celiac disease, which means they can't have any gluten, and both of them really love donuts. So let's get started. To make gluten-free donuts, you are going to need gluten-free flour. I'm using the Shah Mix B, which is the one that they say you should use for bread and brioche and pizza. And if you were making normal donuts, you would use a bread flour, so I'm kind of going with that one. You will need salt, baking powder and xanthum gum, butter, dried yeast or fresh yeast, egg, caster sugar, and a mixture of warm milk and water. So to the flour mixture, I'm going to add the baking powder, salt and xanthan gum. I've made 2 little wells in the flour. I'm going to pour that into one. And I'm going to pour the yeast into the other. And sprinkle the sugar down through the middle. I'm then going to melt my butter and then add all the wet ingredients together. First of all, I'll mix the dry ingredients through to incorporate them. I've melted my butter, so I'm going to add that to my flour mixture along with my egg. Break that up a bit. Just going to give those a little stir. And then we're going to add the milk and water. Comes together. You want a nice smooth dough, so you don't want it sticking to the sides of the bowl, but unlike normal donuts, you don't have to knead it to get the gluten going, so just need to incorporate it. I might add a teeny little bit more water. It feels quite dry. actually feels quite a good consistency now. Okay, so I'm going to dust my work surface with flour so that we can shape the donuts and then put them onto a baking tray. So I'm going to take my dough, I'm going to split it in half. And we're going to use half of it to make jam donuts and half of it to make ring donuts. We're just going to roll it out. To about that thickness, that's probably about half a centimetre. Then I've just got a cookie cutter, which I'm just going to take and cut out, and then I've got a smaller one to make the ring donuts, make the holes in the middle. But I'm not going to waste my holes, I'm just going to roll them into little balls to make donut balls. And I'm just going to place those on a baking tray that I've put some parchment paper on. That's my ring donuts and my donut balls ready. I'm just going to cover them with a bit of cling film and leave them in a warm place, and they need to rise. The yeast and the baking powder will react to give them the rise, and they need to double in size. To make my jam donuts, I'm just going to split the remaining dough. This should be sufficient to make 8 donuts. What's that? 2. Each one. And then I'm just going to take each portion and roll it into a ball so it is donut shape, and again place it on a baking tray that I have got parchment paper on. So that's my jam donuts ready, and then I'm just going to put those in a warm place, covered with a bit of cling film, until they have doubled in size as well. I've taken my jam donuts out of their warm place now. I'm not completely convinced that they have doubled in size. They don't have the same look and feel about them as a normal donut would, but obviously they don't have the gluten in them to stretch them out. So I have heated my deep fat fryer up to 180 degrees. If you don't have a deep fat fryer, you could just put some oil in a pan and use that, but I prefer the deep fat fryer because you've got the control over the temperature. So I have my donuts in the deep fat fryer. They need to fry for 4 to 5 minutes and turn them halfway once they're golden. Like so. Whoop. That one doesn't want to turn over. Once the donuts are cooked, take a slotted spoon, drain them off a little, and then pop them into some caster sugar. Give it a little roll around. This would work better if I wasn't holding the camera at the same time. So push them around in the sugar, give them a coat, and put them to one side to cool down. Need to make a hole to put the jam inside the jam donuts, so I'm using a wooden spoon and just poke it into the side. Make a hole like so. These definitely haven't grown as much as I was expecting them to grow. However, this is my first attempt with the gluten-free ones, so I'll have to try them again. All the donuts are cooked now, and my jam ones have cooled down. So I've taken some raspberry jam, added a tiny little bit of water to it, heated it up, and put it through a sieve to take all the pips out. And then where we made the holes with the spoon, just going to insert the syringe, squirt some jam in. And do that with all our jam donuts. Which ones I've done? That's all our jam ones. Move those out the way a second. And then with the ring ones, the sugar wasn't sticking that greatly to them, so I've just made some glaze up, which I've just taken about a tablespoon of golden syrup, added about half a teaspoon of water, and then added enough icing sugar to give it this nice runny consistency. And then I'm just going to dip the ring donuts into it. For those of you that are from the UK, it's a bit like the glaze that's on a Yum Yum. So I'm just going to stick it in, give it a wiggle round, pull it out, put it upright. There we have our glazed ring donuts and our jam donuts. And I have to admit there are only 4 donut balls left because I've been testing them as I was letting everything cool down. They taste absolutely delicious. The consistency is not as light and fluffy as a normal donut, but it's still good. I was expecting them to rise a little bit more, so I don't know if I didn't put enough yeast in, but everything is trial and error, so we will try again, and if it comes out better next time, I will let you know. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a great big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please click the subscribe button. Please leave me a comment below if you have any recipes you would like me to try. You can also follow me on Instagram, and if you do make the donuts, then please send me a link on there so I can see how yours turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!